Welcome to the Just Be a Man podcast. Please note, this podcast is for entertainment purposes only. Each individual is providing their own independent opinion. Follow, like, subscribe, and comment at Just Be a Man 2020 on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, or YouTube. Also, expect new content every Wednesday on Spreaker.com or your favorite podcast app.
Welcome to the Just Be a Man podcast. My name is Charles, and I am here with the crew. We have Chuck, Mike, Stefan, and Wayne.
What up?
And tonight's topic, what up? Tonight's topic, the fight, the knockdown, drag out, the mother of all battles. Yes, we are talking about the do's and the don'ts of intense fellowship with your lady. Now, when she is whooping your behind verbally and tossing out words from her mouth that literally pierce our souls, what do? What shouldn't you do? And most importantly, how do you make it stop? Now, we've all been there. Intense fellowship. We find ourselves in an argument with our wives or significant others. Next thing you know, someone is sleeping on the couch.
Me.
Yeah, I think it's happened to all of us, bro. So, Stefan, talk to us a little bit. Are there any rules of engagement when it comes to intense fellowship?
Well, good evening, Charles and everyone. Rules. I'll tell you a little history. My mother's mother and father, my grandfather was a Methodist preacher. And when my grandmother would go in, and I mean, she would go in, there would be no cuss words, but she would go in about something. He would start singing hymnals or humming hymnals.
All right now.
And she would just go in, and next thing I know, Blessed Assurance is being hummed out, and she's continuing going, and next thing you know, Precious Lord, take my hand, and I said, man, that is smart. Now, I didn't use those tools, and it probably caused me some pain later in life. So that's an initial rule. Hey, counteract it with a hymnal, and you'd be surprised how you can get rid of a situation.
Okay. All right, not a bad technique. Now, Chuck, you've had a little bit of experience under your belt. You're talking 30 years of marriage.
Guru.
Surely there have been times when you've had some intense fellowship throughout that 30 years, my brother. So talk on it. Speak on it, brother.
Oh, I hit. Talk to us. Look. Before we go any further, for those listening, that was a joke. All right, I don't hit my wife. All right, I don't condone. None of us condone domestic violence.
No, when I say master kung fu, what I'm saying is that you're in charge. You know what to say. You know what to do. You're in charge of the class. No. We don't. That's another topic.
Karate man believes on the inside. There you go.
There you go.
That's right. That's what I'm saying. You bleed on the inside.
Yeah, well, hey, look, man, the way my wife can throw some words, trust me, I bleed on the inside for real. But no, look, we've been married for a long time, man. So we've kind of had enough time, I guess, to kind of figure it out, figure each other out. Different strokes for different folks. I mean, I wish I could say that there was a magical answer for, getting through it and a fight with your significant other, but there just isn't. I can tell you this. You need to breathe. Mm-hmm. You need to listen.
Right.
You need to, why is she so upset? Why are you so upset for that matter? You need to communicate, you need to talk. And, I'm kind of blessed in that respect. We've had our I don't want to call them, knockdown, drag out fights. We've had some blow ups, mm-hmm. But it's not necessarily how you fight. It's not necessarily what you say during the fight. It's what you say afterwards to not necessarily make up, but to figure out, why it happened, what happened, why it happened, and where do we go from here? How do we, rectify the situation? So, it's different for each couple. You'll figure each other out, hopefully sooner than later. And you should have a good deal of these things already in the can before you say I do. But, stuff happens, life happens. So, you just got to talk. You got to communicate, man.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's definitely key in terms of dealing with the ladies, improving the communication and all that good stuff. But I mean, you have kids, right?
Right.
So have there ever been times when things have escalated in front of the kids?
Yes, but we've always been conscious about that.
Okay.
We've been conscious about our actions in front of our kids, our language. Uh, you know, we have our slip ups. When the kids were younger, we used to, yeah, we have a slip up or two in terms of language and all that. But for the most part, you try to make sure your kids are well rounded, and they, you can't shelter your kids from everything. It just life just doesn't work that way, and your house is only as big as your voice can carry. So, we have had some arguments where we've had to kind of have sit down with the kids later, say, hey, mom and dad aren't, you know we don't hate each other. Sometimes this is what happens in a loving relationship, and we've had to have that conversation. But I think I can only remember maybe once, maybe twice that we've had to do that with the kids, because we're very conscious about that type of behavior around the kids, and that's just how we do, or
All right.
or I should say have done, because the two of my three children are grown now, so now they cursing.
Gotcha. Wayne, speak on it, sir.
All right. Well, do's and don'ts. I don't know that I really know the answers because my record's not good. But what I do know is that silence don't work all the time. Sometimes you think if you stop talking, it's gonna calm the situation down. No, they get heated. They
Hmm.
like you're not listening. So I mean, maybe that humming would have been a better move for me. I don't know. But no, it's just one of those things where you try to figure out. All right, like you get your point across, and your point means nothing. You're like, well, then why am I talking? So I
Right.
stopped talking. So no, I think it's just a matter of you just don't let it escalate. That's how I see it. You don't let it get crazy to where it really gets physical, because that's crazy. But these arguments is gonna happen. Um, don't look for logic in it. Don't try to make sense out of it. Just deal with it and keep it moving. That's what I got.
Yep. Yep. Sometimes easier said than done, unfortunately. Mike,
Always easier.
yeah. How do you
Facts on
deal
that.
with it when things get ugly and emotional in your household, Mike?
Well, Charlie Rock, I'm glad you asked. This is Mike. Right now, I'm kind of twisted up in the game, brother, because I'm confused with the words, because you got intense fellowship. Now, if we look at
Hmm.
the definition of intense, we talking about having or showing strong feelings or opinions, right? Then you hit fellowship, friendly association, especially with people who you share a common interest. That doesn't work in an argument, my brother. You can't be
Hmm.
friendly and intense. I never seen an intense friendly relationship or an argument. Like, I'm gonna intense you to death. You hear me? With some friendliness. It doesn't work, brother. It doesn't work. All right. All I know in
Preach, brother.
romantic relationships, there's going to be disagreements and fights, especially when you spend a lot of time together. COVID-19 quarantine. The lives become intertwined together, and the do's and don'ts are space, the final frontier, your saving grace.
Okay.
Makes you stop from holding your face with some ice. You know what I mean? You just need to be in that situation, where you have to know when to say when. Get Geico, let it go. Things that rhyme, that make everything happen, brother. People say, some dudes be saying that they be singing and hemming and humming. I just start rhyming, you know what I mean? I start old school, Peter Piper picked a pack of pack of peppers, a pack of cigarettes, something like that. However it works out, I just figure out a way to get out of the situation. But no, in all serious though, you all know I joke around, whatever. But you have to pick and choose your battles. You have to be direct, and you have to be
Hmm.
respectively direct. Talk about how you feel without blaming each other, which is hard because,
Hmm.
like I said, when you got that one finger pointing at somebody, what they say? How many pointing back?
Yep. 4 pointing
Right,
back at
right.
yourself.
Yeah,
That's right.
exactly. So I just think that you like Chuck says, you learn as you go. You got to really learn how to listen, which I got a problem with that because I've been told all my life that a hard head make a soft ass, and and still to this day I can't sit down on one side because thanks to Granddaddy, God bless you. I just want to say that. So all I can say, man, listen and learn. You know what I mean? Just don't do what I do and say, I see you, I hear you, because then comes the brick. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, one of the things that I try to focus on is to remember, what is said in that moment of a heated exchange will haunt you for the rest. I mean, it could haunt you for years down the line if you say the wrong thing.
Hallelujah.
Mike?
Man, I am still paying for some stuff I said in 1996. You hear me?
What?
Oh,
Come
man.
on.
Come on, man.
Come on.
It comes up every once in a while. Every once in a while. Hey, but look, during that.
Called the sucker punch.
Oh, yes, sir. Yes, sir. Hey, but to Mike's point, when Mike was talking, hey, Mike, if Mike had said my brother one more time, I swear I was going to go out and get a bean pie. That's all I'm saying.
We've also, touched on it. Clearly, we never ever in life want to get physical with a woman.
Yeah.
So
Never
when it
that.
comes to a heated exchange, the best advice that I would have is to walk away, but don't leave that house, for an extended period of time,
No.
because that
No.
in and of itself, could cause some problems as well. And the other thing that I've learned in my years of marriage is that, first of all, never in front of the kids, like Chuck spoke on previously, but don't involve outsiders. I mean, and that includes members of your family if you can avoid it,
Fact.
because you all
I
could be
agree.
all lovey-dovey, you kissed and made up and things of that nature. And the people that you involved are looking at you sideways still, for months, for weeks, for years to come, because you involved them in your relationship issues. Can you all, anybody speak on that, Wayne?
Yeah, I actually can because um, my girlfriend at the time was involving her family into it.
Hmm.
And we were having deep conversations, and most of the time we were resolving it. But then she get on the phone and say, "Yeah, we just had a fight about this and that." And next thing you know, they're looking at me crazy, ready to rough me up. And these were gangsters. I ain't gonna lie, they were straight gangsters. And I'm like, really, really, we're gonna have an argument, and you're gonna get on the phone and tell your mother and your sister about our argument, and now your brothers are involved? No, we need to, resolve our issues internally. Needless to
Hmm.
say, she's no longer my girlfriend, thank God, because I'd probably be dead messing with her, even though it was something trivial.
Right, right.
Hey,
Wayne?
Steph. Hey, Steph.
What I
That's the worst when you got to take your bulletproof vest to the Food Lion. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly, exactly. Worrying about a drive-by as I'm sitting on the porch.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. What I was gonna say is, I think what's also important to know is, there's a way to say everything, right? So there's sometimes you can avoid an argument by just like whatever the situation or whatever the concern is by presenting it in a certain way. But
Okay.
if you come hard, it's gonna come back pretty bad for you. And everybody's been there where it switched like a light switch. You
Mm.
you thought life was good, then all of a sudden it's a problem.
Comes out of left field
You're
sometimes, right?
like, and you're like there with what the hell just happened? I thought we was good. But anyway, I think it's just a matter of communicating. I think Chuck said that, and Mike said that too. But it's just, choose your words, right? Instead of just saying what the hell's going on, maybe you could say something a little bit different. That's what I'm just putting out there.
But what
Well,
if she's hitting below the belt, man? What if
They
she
always
really
do.
pushes that
well,
button that is just
well,
sets you off, man? What happens?
So what you got to do is, well, let me go real quick. So, at some point you kind of want to walk away, like you said before, but at some point you get to the point where you don't want to keep taking the L. You
That's
just feel
right.
like you're giving up too much, and you gotta say your piece, and you're gonna say at the top of your lungs or however you got to do it. But you can't, when it gets crazy, especially like you said, below the belt, something that's like, not even called for or whatever. You gotta stand for that and deal with that situation, but and then walk away.
Mm-hmm.
Especially
So,
when they give you that your mama. Oh,
ooh, ooh.
No, but you know what?
yeah,
That
I know.
hurt.
yeah, that hurt.
Hey, but Charles, I know Chuck had to say something. Then I'll let you know. I had to say something about that.
Okay, Chuck.
Go ahead,
Oh no,
Chuck.
yeah, nothing. No, well, all I was gonna say was the people that love you the most, or the people that you love the most, are the people that hurt you the most,
That's right.
because
What?
and it's not intentional. It's because they know you and they know how to push your buttons and they know what to say to hurt you. Um, so that's, I mean, think about that. That's pretty harsh, you know.
That's
Um,
gangster.
huh?
That's gangster.
It is. It is.
Yeah.
So you know, so this person is spitting venom, like you said, Charles. How do you deal with that? The person that knows your secrets and stuff like that, and then they weaponize them
Mm-hmm.
and they use them against you. Um, I'll be honestly, if you are really committed to a relationship, if you really love that person, you'll see it for what it is. That person is hurt. That person is throwing daggers because that person is hurt.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and the reason the daggers are so sharp is because the hurt came from the person that they love the most, usually you.
Right.
So if you think about that and you realize it, then hopefully it'll give you reason to pause and you think about it. Like you said, you got to pause. You got to think about what's going on in the situation, and then you got to readdress it. It might not be the time. You might have to, like Charles said, walk away, give her some time to breathe. I know my wife. I know it's time to re-engage when the cabinets stop slamming.
Mm.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
so, so yeah. So it's
Yeah.
again, everybody's different. Everybody's relationship is different. This is part of the growth process. When you get into a serious relationship or you get married or whatever, you have to learn each other. And you are always quick to figure out what hurts somebody, but it takes a lot longer to figure out what helps or heals somebody. So that's what you got to figure out now. How can we work together, or how can I fix this, whatever. But again, to me, it all comes back to communication. Walk away, give it some time, come back together. Hey, what happened was messed up. If you have to apologize, apologize. Even if you're not wrong. I'm not saying apologize if you're not wrong, but at least talk about what's going on
Right.
to try to, come to a resolution.
That's good
Right.
stuff. That's good stuff,
Well,
Mike.
but what I found out, man, and I'll get back to the hitting below the belt thing later. I got a remedy for that. Never say, always, never say never, you never, and never say you always. I found out, I saw that when my mother and father were arguing, and they had little intense stuff, really intense things, which bothered me back in the day, because back then I guess it was okay to be physical when your argument got intense, especially when the young lady got a little more intense than the man, and I guess that was his way of slowing her down, or putting her back in her lane, and I experienced that a little bit. And that's why that's my motto of never put my hands on a young lady due to the fact of what I saw. But also, talk about how you feel without blaming your partner. That was a lot I had to learn on my own, because I'm stubborn. It's easy for me to walk away and do all that different things, but I was able to things came with time, is all I'm saying. I'm not a perfect dude. I know that some of the violations I violated, in regards to relationship about certain things, but between learning, dealing with different people, it helped, change the narrative of what was going on and everything. So I got a little better with it. I'm not perfect. I still got my issues and everything else, but you just
We
got to
all
know
do.
when, got to know when to say when. And to lighten the mood, I know people were talking about hitting below the belt. I used to get hit below the belt a lot back in the day. So what I used to do is put some flour in a little baggie and put some holes in it. So when somebody hit me below the belt, there'd be so much dust in the kitchen that everybody, trying to make it outside because they couldn't breathe. And that was my go-to.
Man,
So I'm
you are
not
off
saying
the chain,
anybody in
man.
podcast land should listen to this, but I'm just saying, that's what I learned, and that's Steph, that was before I knew you was going to the military, my brother. So that was one of my moves.
Well,
Get open.
Steph, I'm coming to you, man. I'm gonna
I had to
we're gonna
lighten the
get
mood.
Steph out of we're gonna get Steph out of witness protection.
Okay, well, I had
Steph,
to lighten the mood
no,
up because I got a little intense there. I had to bring it up, but yeah, I patent that too.
let's
Hey, listen, that's called punch powder. You can buy it at Walmart, Dollar General. All right,
all right. I'm
all
I'm
right.
writing that down, bro.
My
I'm
bad,
writing
my
it down.
bad. I'm sorry, brother. Let me get back on track. Go ahead, Steph Lover.
Now, Steph, let's just say you can't agree to disagree. You can't even agree on that. What do you do next, bro?
I tell you what I used to do is when I was in Germany, I would just get in the car, get on the Autobahn, and drive 125 miles per hour for about 60 miles, and then turn around and drive another, 125 miles per hour. Because by that time, I have calmed down, she has calmed down, and my stuff is not out on the street.
Mm-hmm.
So that means that we can go in and have a discussion. Most of the time, that worked, and we move through. Now, in my current and last marriage, I just have a superwoman that just she was raised in a hostile environment, so she refuses to allow that to happen in our marriage. So we agree to disagree, but then we move forward. And then eventually either one of us will see that maybe the other person was right, and we need to grow from this mistake.
Yo, Steph, you can end up on the couch with a superwoman too, right?
Yeah, that's true. It does happen, but I refuse. My name is on this mortgage. I'm going in that bed. You can
Oh,
sleep
Hey,
off.
snap.
Yeah,
look,
Hey,
yeah.
a superwoman will put you on the couch.
Yeah, this is true.
hey, Steph, why you talking about that junk? You
Yo,
might have to order a helmet from Amazon.
with full body armor.
Full body armor, brother.
That Amazon doesn't do oversized shipping, brother.
Oh,
Wow.
Damn.
My bad. I'm
Oh,
sorry.
hey,
Were
that
we
was
don't
live?
worry, folks.
Were we
that.
Hey,
live?
he'll
I'm
be
sorry.
here
My
all
Is,
week.
bad.
He'll be all here all week.
is this
Try to
thing
stay.
on?
Right. Boom, boom.
So, Wayne, I'm gonna go back to you, man. In your 50 plus years of life, what have you learned about managing conflict with a woman? Because personally speaking, I've never won an argument with my wife ever. She is the undefeated, undisputed welterweight champion of my house.
Let me say it like this. So I'm the only one on the podcast that's single. So obviously I don't know the answers. But yeah, I think I got the same record as you. I'm owing 1,000. But I think it's a matter of just getting feeling that you got your point across, because that's all you can really do.
Mhm.
And I think when you really get your point across and you're really saying something, they get crazier,
Mhm.
right? Because they know that you right with what you're saying. So you can't win. You can't win. And I think, hope some of these younger cats that are listening to us know that. So save your energy, dudes. Take
Mhm.
deep breaths, walk out the room, because you ain't gonna win. Everybody's owing 1,000.
Hey, see, that's not that. Wait, that's not 100% true. You
All right,
can
talk.
you
Speak on
can
it.
you can win. All right.
Yeah.
You just have to leave the conversation before she gets a chance to say anything. That's how you win. You got to storm out, son.
Drop the mic.
You got to. That's right. And another thing, I'm not doing this again. Bah, roll out. That's it.
Bounce.
Roll
I
out.
got you.
And then you still got to come
Now
back.
understand. You still got to come home.
Yeah.
You still got to come
I
home.
understand
But
that.
for what? Hey, look. What do I say on the golf course? Small victories.
No doubt.
Small victories.
No doubt.
Yep. So, Chuck, I'm coming back to you, man. Sometimes these fights are face to face. Sometimes they're over the phone. Sometimes, you might be getting lit up via text messages.
Oh man,
So,
that's the
talk to
worst.
us a little bit about that.
Well, text messages are the worst because it's one dimensional. She can, and I will say this: we've had a couple of blow ups because I didn't get the gist, or I didn't get the meaning of what she was trying to say because it was a text message. So anybody listening, I'll say, look, if you're in the middle of an argument, you're about to start an argument, whatever, man up. Don't send text. Talk about it. So how you deal with that? Hey, look, if text message, hey, pause. Let's wait till we can get together and talk. On the phone, I mean, yeah, if you can talk it out on the phone and resolve it, great, whatever. Most of the conversations that or trying to come to resolution for a problem, we've done face to face. We usually try to talk face to face and settle it. That's how we do it in my house. Doesn't always work, but after 30 years, something's working. So
Well, yeah, I know when my wife starts texting in all caps, I know I'm in trouble.
right,
And there is no way in the world I can out text my wife.
right.
Period.
Well,
So we had just a slight flare up today, and she started lighting me up in text. It was all cap. I didn't even read it, man. I just immediately picked up the phone and was like, "Hey, babe, what's going on?"
right.
Because hey, I don't need to be involved in this text war. You know what I'm saying? And right then and there, within 30 seconds, the whole situation was over. But had I let that text situation continue, bruh, I'd have been on the couch. You know what I'm saying, Wayne?
Damn.
Yeah. So, what's funny about the text thing is if you don't respond like that, like you did with the phone call, that texting messes up your day or
Oh
your
yeah.
night or whatever. Because let's just say you out
Yeah,
hanging out and then you get these texts, you're like, you can't enjoy shit else,
Nope.
right? You're like, ah, man, what the hell's gonna happen? What the hell's going
yeah,
on? And if you're at work, now you're not focused on what you're supposed to be doing because you're like, what the hell's even going on? So yeah, the text is the worst.
Mm-hmm.
It's way
yeah.
better to be in front of it. It's way better to be. It doesn't seem like it at the time, but it's way better to be in front of it.
No
That's what I
question.
would say.
No question. So, guys, what are some of the things you should never say to your wife? Period. Whether it's an argument or not. What are some of the things you should absolutely never in life say or do? Chuck.
I mean, we all know the obvious, the cursing at your wife, the expletives, things like that. If your wife or significant other is pouring their heart out to you and they're trying to tell you how they feel, and you may still be in your feelings, never say, whatever,
Right.
whatever. That's
Oh
man, come
yeah.
on, that is
Completely
just
dismissive. Yeah.
dismissive.
Right.
Come on, man. And I kind of say that because I actually heard somebody do that the other day, and when he did it, just the look on her face. I mean, it just looked like her soul left her body, and that's just another argument.
Mm-hmm.
So that's just one of them. I'm sure you guys got many more, but that's one for me. Whatever. Don't say that, fellas.
Throw them out there, guys. Toss them out.
What do you think, Steph?
Well, I tell you, don't say, "Well, my ex-girlfriend wasn't like this."
Oh
Ooh,
damn.
ouch.
Ooh.
Yeah, because I might have an ex-wife. Um, don't say, "Well, you are gaining a little weight." You know,
Oh.
Oh.
Yeah,
yeah,
definitely don't say that.
yeah.
Not
Um,
unsolicited. Don't say it unsolicited.
Don't
exactly.
do
Um,
don't do the juicy. Don't do the juicy.
say, well, the food really doesn't taste that good. You know.
Oh. Oh
Yeah,
man.
yeah. Those are things that you probably don't want to say.
I
Uh,
got one. Yeah. What do you do anyway? That's
Oh.
not good.
Oh.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's bad.
Yeah. You're
That's not
single for a
good.
reason. You're single for a reason, bro.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I,
You
I
are.
love
You
you,
are.
but yeah, if
Absolutely.
you, yeah,
Damn.
wow.
Yeah, he
Mm.
gets rickety raw with it.
Yeah, I see.
Mike.
Um. I don't know, man. I got so trouble so much I can't even remember. Let's see. I've been in trouble so many times. I had three sisters. And I, got married and some girlfriends, and so a lot of things. Let's see. I can't stand when you do that. Why don't you mind your business? Uh, all these came with repercussions. I can show you all the scars after every little word I said there. So mind your business got
Yeah.
me these three
Yeah.
stitches right here. You know, and you need to go somewhere. They got me a couple of scars right here. Um, what else? You never, of course, and why you always, and that got me a couple of burn marks because I don't know if y'all know this or not, but if somebody take a fork with some hot grease and sprinkle it, that hurt just as bad as anything else. Listen,
Yeah, but the bottom line is, I think what we're talking about is the fact that arguments do have a tendency to leave invisible scars.
facts.
Some of the words that are used, they hurt. I've personally used some words that have hurt my lady, and vice versa. So now that we've had the intense fellowship, we've had the knockdown, drag out argument. The question that I'm going to pose to you guys is, what happens next? How do you fix this thing with your lady? Because I personally believe, and I was told this a while back, is that you should get something out of it each and every time you have intense fellowship with your lady. You should learn something, and in many cases, what not to do the next time, to avoid it. So talk to me. I mean, you've had the intense argument with your lady. How do you fix that? And Chuck, let me go to you because you're the veteran here.
Um, I don't necessarily know how to fix it. I'll be honest with you. I just do what I do, which is if, we're in a trouble spot, what I call it. Hey, come here. Let's sit down. Let's talk. I am guilty of letting things linger a little longer than they should, simply because I have trouble getting out of my own way, and
Mm.
that is one of my character flaws. But because I
Preach.
realize now because I realize that I do that, I'm the one that's blocking everything. That's why I intentionally have to go away. I have to separate myself. I've got to take time because I got to get myself right. I don't know. We've had this conversation before where I use the airline stewardess analogy, whereas the mask drops from the overhead compartment. You put on yourself first because if you pass out, you can't help anybody else around you. So you help yourself first, then you can help somebody else. So I try to get myself right, as mentally right and prepared as I can. I think about the situation. What was my role in it? Was I the cause of it? Could I have been the cause of it? Whatever. I try to self-analyze. Then, hey, babe, let's sit down. Can we talk? Let me tell you
Hmm.
what I was thinking just a minute ago from my perspective, and that's how we kind of start. And then wherever it goes from there, you just have to hold on because she's got to get her side out and the whole 9 yards. But that's kind of where I go with it.
That's good stuff, Mike.
Well, I know I joke around a lot, whatever, but my thing is that, man, we all want, the best for our families, our relationship, and everything else. And like I said, you have to be direct, but you have to be direct on both sides, and you got to know when to say you're wrong. And I think that was the hardest problem I had all my life, was saying my fault or I was wrong or whatever, because I never saw that. I never saw that done, and so maybe I picked up a bad habit or two. So know when to say, listen, I'm sorry, that was my fault. What can I do to change it? How can I, help, whatever. Um, but also remember, I read something a while back. It was the 5-to-1 ratio, and we call it the 5-to-1 ratio because what you do is you say 5 positive things, to one negative thing. You know what I mean? So if some
Hmm.
one negative thing come out, you got to try to find 5 positive. And then if all else fails, do like I used to do, and you write swear words about your person who you don't like on a piece of paper, and you go across the street and throw it away in your neighbor's trash can. Thank you very much.
All right. All right. How about you, Stefan?
Only Mike, I swear, only Mike. So now does shooting them in the pinky toe count? Because
Nah, that
you
don't
Wow.
count. That don't count. No,
yeah.
no,
I mean, I'm just checking,
no.
but no.
Too much
I'll
for
tell you.
insurance problems. Don't do it.
Oh, got it. Well, I tell you, makeup sex is a tool because
Yes, it is.
makeup sex is sometimes one of the best tools because a lot of times you've been aggressive. But I'll tell you, the best way to do it is to get some time by yourself and do that self reflection that Chuck just mentioned.
Hmm.
Because you'd be surprised. Or maybe I jumped the gun. Maybe I didn't listen to her, and that caused the flare up. And then have that hard. Let's put the TV down. I'm sorry. Put the phone down. Let's turn the TV off. Let's talk. The key thing is trying not to go to bed angry. And the last thing, a lot of people, a lot of issues happen because of alcohol or substance abuse,
Yeah, that's true.
and that's when the argument really intensifies. So I've made it a point never, 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 never have an argument if I've had a drop or something to drink.
Hmm.
I'd rather just take one for the team and say, yes, ma'am, you're right, you're absolutely right, because, uh, I don't want to be accused of not listening to her because I don't remember the situation because I was fired up because of alcohol or something else.
Yeah, that's good. One thing that I would offer is there's a book out there called The Five Love Languages. And I don't know if you guys are familiar with it, but the five love languages are words of affirmation, quality time, receiving gifts, acts of service, and physical touch. And in some aspect, this book claims that everyone falls into one or more of those categories. And for your wives or significant others, it may be a couple. I know for my wife, for example, she loves receiving gifts. She loves words of affirmation, right? So I know that when I've messed up or we've had a heated exchange or intense fellowship, um, those are the ways in which I try to engage her. I try to speak directly to her love language, which helps to calm things down. So I can get to a point where we can have good communication. We can talk about what went wrong and hopefully, again, never in life repeat the same mistakes. Wayne?
Yeah, that's good. That's good, Charles. I just wanted to say is I think as kind of some things you can do better is go back to communication, right? And there's a way to say everything. So sometimes you step into a fight because you just were careless with your words that you chose to start going into that. And I just want to be clear that we're talking about this from our perspective here, and that doesn't mean that the women aren't always wrong. It could be we could be wrong, and we are wrong sometimes. And it's just about us seeing the perspective. So your lady could be mad about something, but you're not even seeing it the way she's seeing it, and you could be completely guilty. So I think it's that's part of the communication. You kind of step back, you think, okay, all right, I should have did that different. I should have said that different, or maybe I could see how that looks crazy. So I think it's just a matter of trying, because I think a lot of times when people get into fights, it's just combat, right? You're just trying to win.
Hmm.
You just got in there. You don't know what's going on. You're just trying to get out the round. So, but if you step back and say, you know what, all right, what did I have to do with this situation? What could I do better? All right, I'm sorry. I shouldn't have did that. I shouldn't have said that, and I'm not going to do that again, kind of a thing.
Yeah, that's good. I mean, I've heard someone say before that, what do you want? Do you want to win the fight or do you want to win the relationship? And sometimes we got to sit back and although it's hard, we got to take that L sometimes, even when we know we're in the right, um, you know, to care for the relationship, we just got to fall on that sword sometime. Steph?
A lot of times arguments have nothing to do with us as guys. A lot of times there's something else out there. Maybe there was a situation at work that
Hmm.
teed her off, or the kids have done something and we have failed to follow through, or it could be finances that we have no control over, but now it's starting to wear her out. So
Hmm.
we've got to be receptive to hearing about the issues from work, even though we don't work there and we really could care less. It does bother our spouses. Those are things we also have to take into account when there's intense fellowship or a buildup of anger.
I like that. And also, work to circumvent the triggers. If we know that there's some things that bother our wives, you know, just something, it could be something trivial, not picking up our socks, not making up the bed, something like that. Uh, we could take preventative measures to prevent things from escalating later by just stepping up in some of those areas that we know are pet peeves for
Right,
her.
right. Like crust on a sink. I mean, no question about it. I'm sure that's a pet peeve.
No doubt. No doubt. So, guys,
No doubt, Steph. Um,
uh, Yeah,
hold on, Charles.
are there any final
I
thoughts
got
before
something
we
to
close
say.
this thing out? Go ahead, Mike.
Yeah, I got some final thoughts. I just think that our ladies just want to be heard. You know, they want to be seen. So I would just say that if you know you made a mistake, say you made a mistake and move on. All right. And if all else
Mhm.
fails, you can do like I used to do back in the day when it used to work, when I used to do a body butter expo in my bedroom. And I had a booth set up right next to the bed. And I had all these different varieties of body butter. And I would like try them on her on different parts of her body. And then we had kids, and then boom, it was over. Thank you.
What the hell?
But I just want to say that I believe in relationships, and I want them to work. So let's do it. Let's work together to make some positive relationships. Let the ladies be heard. Let them be seen, and let's do what we can to make it happen. I'm out.
Yes, sir.
Hey, Charles, if I could say one last thing, and I know that, all of us are in our 50s, but there are some younger people listening. I think you said something that was pretty good, and that was, sometimes you got to just take that L, right? So I think these younger dudes got a lot more energy, and they think they could win every fight. Everybody is 0 for 1,000.
Mhm.
Everybody. So take the losses. If you're going to lose, just die early. Just die early. Give it up early.
Fall on the sword.
So just let it go. Let it go.
There it is. Any final thoughts from you, Chuck?
Nah, man, I think we covered it all, man. I got to go get my pillow ready so I get on the couch. So,
All right. Well, the last thing I would offer is that we really need to focus on who we are at our best and not who we are in our worst moments. And I think sometimes we get sort of wrapped up in the heated exchange, and things are said, things are done that, quite frankly, can destroy a relationship just in those few fleeting moments of stupidity. And so the focus should be on, who am I dealing with? Who is she at her best? And hopefully, she gives me the same grace in exchange. So, well, that's our show for this evening, guys. I thought it was really good conversation. I would say to our audience, don't forget to check us out on social media. Be on the lookout for future episodes. And until next time, we wish you peace and blessings.
Deuces.
Thanks for joining us this week on the Just Be a Man podcast. Be sure to check us out on social media at Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, or YouTube, where you can follow, like, subscribe, and comment at Just Be a Man 2020. We will love to receive your feedback. Also, if there is a topic you would like us to discuss, please leave your suggestion in the comments. Remember to tune in next Wednesday for more meaningful discussion. Until then, we wish you peace and blessings.